If you take a daily vitamin, I want you to stay with me for the next 60 seconds, because there's a good chance what you're taking isn't doing what you think it is. And the problem isn't the vitamin. It's something most labels will never tell you. Most people taking a daily vitamin are not getting what they think they are. That's not a scare tactic. It's just what the research keeps showing, and what most pharmacists and physicians quietly understand, but rarely get the time to explain properly. The supplement industry in the United States alone is worth over $50 billion a year. And yet, study after study shows that a large portion of people taking vitamins see little to no measurable benefit. Not because vitamins don't matter, they absolutely do, but because of a few specific problems that nobody talks about clearly. So let's talk about them clearly. The first problem is absorption. Your body doesn't absorb a vitamin just because you swallowed it. That's not how nutrition works. When a supplement hits your stomach, it has to be broken down, processed, and then actively transported into your cells. If any part of that chain isn't working the way it should, the vitamin passes through you and exits in your pee. You paid for it. Your restroom got the benefit. Vitamin C is a good example. A lot of people take 1,000 milligrams or more a day thinking they're loading up on immune support. But here's what actually happens. Your body has a saturation point for vitamin C absorption, somewhere around 200 to 400 milligrams depending on the person. Beyond that, absorption drops sharply and the excess is flushed out. More doesn't mean more absorbed. It just means more expensive pee. The same principle applies to most water-soluble vitamins. Your body takes what it needs at that moment and discards the rest. So the idea that taking a higher dose automatically gives you more benefit isn't accurate for most vitamins. Absorption efficiency is the real variable, not the number on the label. Now, fat-soluble vitamins work differently, and this is where things get more nuanced. Vitamins A, D, E, and K are fat-soluble. That means your body stores them in fat tissue and your liver. They don't flush out the same way. But here's the problem most people run into. If you're taking a fat-soluble vitamin on an empty stomach or with a very low-fat meal, you're absorbing a fraction of what's in that pill. These vitamins need dietary fat present in the gut to be properly absorbed. No fat present, poor absorption. It's a basic physiological requirement that the label on your vitamin bottle almost never tells you. Vitamin D is probably the best example of how this plays out in practice. Vitamin D deficiency is one of the most common nutrient deficiencies in the world. Doctors test for it routinely now, and the numbers are genuinely striking. Large portions of the population are deficient, including people living in sunny climates. So people start taking vitamin D supplements, often at the recommendation of their doctor, and then they retest 6 months later and their levels barely moved. What happened? In many cases, two things. First, they were taking it without fat. Vitamin D3, the form most supplements use, is a fat-soluble compound. It needs fat in the gut to absorb properly. Second, a lot of people are taking D3 without also taking vitamin K2, and that matters more than most people realize. Vitamin D helps your body absorb calcium from food. That's well established. But vitamin K2 is what directs that calcium to go where it belongs, into your bones and teeth, rather than depositing in your arteries and soft tissue. These two vitamins work together in your body's calcium regulation system. If you're taking high-dose vitamin D without adequate K2, you may be increasing calcium absorption without having the cofactor that ensures it goes to the right places. Many supplements don't include K2. Most labels don't explain this relationship at all. Let's talk about form, because this is another major factor people miss. Not all versions of a vitamin are the same inside your body. The form of the vitamin, meaning its specific chemical structure, determines how well your body can actually use it. Magnesium is a perfect illustration of this. There are at least 8 or 9 different forms of magnesium in supplements. Magnesium oxide is the most common form you'll find in cheap multivitamins and store-brand supplements. It's also one of the least bioavailable. Studies have shown absorption rates for magnesium oxide can be as low as 4%. Magnesium glycinate or magnesium malate, on the other hand, are absorbed significantly better and are better tolerated by the digestive system. Same mineral, completely different absorption profile. And the cheaper form ends up on most shelves because it's inexpensive to manufacture, and because most people have no way of knowing the difference when they're standing in the supplement aisle. B12 is another clear example. The most common form of B12 in supplements is cyanocobalamin. It's stable and inexpensive. But your body has to convert it into a usable form, methylcobalamin, before it can actually function in your cells. For most people, that conversion works reasonably well, but a significant portion of the population has a genetic variation in an enzyme called MTHFR that slows or impairs that conversion process. These people can take standard B12 supplements for years and still show up with poor B12 function on lab tests, not because they weren't taking it, but because their body wasn't efficiently converting it. If that's you, you need methylcobalamin directly, the active form, not the precursor. This applies to folate as well. Folic acid, the synthetic form found in most supplements and fortified foods, has to be converted into active folate in the body. The same MTHFR variation that affects B12 conversion also impairs folic acid conversion. This is especially relevant for women in their reproductive years and during pregnancy. The form matters. Now let's add one more layer, because it's important. The gut. Everything you swallow passes through your gastrointestinal system before it reaches your bloodstream. And your GI tract, particularly the small intestine, is where most nutrient absorption actually happens. If your gut is inflamed, damaged, or dysbiotic, meaning your gut bacteria are imbalanced, your ability to absorb nutrients is compromised regardless of what you're taking. Conditions like celiac disease, Crohn's disease, and even undiagnosed low-grade gut inflammation can significantly reduce nutrient absorption. People with these issues can be eating well, taking supplements, and still develop deficiencies because the intestinal surface responsible for absorbing nutrients isn't functioning at full capacity. The supplement didn't fail in isolation. The delivery system was compromised. Gut bacteria also play a direct role in producing and activating certain vitamins. Vitamin K2 is produced in part by beneficial gut bacteria. B vitamins are influenced by gut flora as well. A gut that's been disrupted by antibiotics, chronic stress, or a diet low in fiber doesn't just cause digestive symptoms. It changes how your body processes and accesses certain nutrients from both food and supplements. This is why two people can take the same vitamin at the same dose and have completely different results. It's not the supplement itself, it's the internal environment it's entering. So what does this mean practically? Start by asking whether you actually have a deficiency. Taking a vitamin because you heard it was good for energy or immunity isn't the same as taking it because you've confirmed your levels are low. Blood tests for vitamin D, B12, magnesium, folate, and iron are straightforward and routinely available. Knowing your actual levels before you start supplementing gives you a baseline and lets you track whether what you're taking is actually working. Guessing isn't a strategy. If you're taking vitamin D, take it with a meal that contains fat, not a dry cracker, but something like eggs, avocado, olive oil, or nuts. Consider pairing it with K2 in the MK7 form, which is more bioavailable than MK4. The combination of D3 and K2 is available in a single supplement if you prefer simplicity. If you take magnesium, look at the form on the label. Magnesium glycinate is a solid choice for most people and is well tolerated. Magnesium malate works well too, particularly if you're dealing with muscle fatigue. Avoid oxide if you're looking for actual absorption. If you're supplementing B12 or folate, particularly if you've had prior issues with energy, mood, or neurological symptoms that haven't fully resolved, consider getting your MTHFR status tested. It's a simple genetic test. If you have a common variant, switching to methylcobalamin and methylfolate, the active forms, may make a meaningful difference. Pay attention to your gut. Chronic bloating, irregular digestion, or a long history of antibiotic use can all signal that your GI tract may need support before supplementation becomes fully effective. A diet rich in fiber, fermented foods, and diverse plant sources gives your gut bacteria the environment they need to function properly. That foundation matters. And be realistic about what supplements can and can't do. A supplement is exactly what the word says. It supplements. It fills a gap that food or sunlight or lifestyle isn't adequately covering. It is not a substitute for eating well, sleeping enough, or moving your body regularly. No vitamin corrects a fundamentally poor diet. No supplement reverses the effects of chronic sleep deprivation. These things work together, not as replacements for each other. The reason most vitamins don't work the way people expect isn't that vitamins are ineffective by nature. It's that absorption, form, timing, gut health, and individual biochemistry all determine what your body actually gets from what you take. A supplement that works well for one person may do very little for another, and the label gives you almost none of that information. Being an informed consumer here isn't complicated. It just requires asking a few more questions before you buy. What form is this? When should I take it? Do I actually know my current levels? Is my gut in a state where it can absorb this properly? Those questions change the outcome more than doubling your dose ever will. Your body is doing an enormous amount of work every day. Give it what it actually needs, in the form it can use, and it will respond. That's not a promise about any specific product. It's just how human physiology works. And there you have it. Take this knowledge and take control of your health. Thank you for watching.